Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I understand that there was problems with the studio where they got in trouble for our man Bashir.
Yes, they did.
They're not allowed to show it again.
Yeah, that's why you never saw. They were planning
They
to
never
do
did a Bond
sequels.
thing.
It was so popular, they were going to do lots of those sequels.
Yeah, because the broccoli people sued him. Because it was obviously too much like Bond, which it was. Well, they weren't even hiding anything. Like, everything was Bond. So they said, you can't do that. That's infringement of our copyright. And they sued him $100,000. And at least they settled for $100,000. And said, we promise not to do it again. And they didn't. They put me in a tuxedo again. They just didn't call me Bond anymore, or whatever. Not even that. There's something
There
clever
were
about
there were some references.
yeah, the references were dropped. That sort of thing was that. No, Julian Bashir was still in, but just some other stuff. I couldn't have all the babes I wanted anymore. There was stuff, I just can't remember it. I couldn't have the gun and the gadget, that's it.
Yeah.
Stuff I couldn't do. Anyway.
Couldn't have your martini shaking. Sure.
I couldn't have that stuff, exactly. But so we stopped doing the Bond thing. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll hit the front and you'll go back to Andy's, because it's, yeah. Where did we two study? Weirdly, we studied at the same school.
We went to the same school. I went a few months after he did.
Yeah. You studied there, and, he was one of the great class of 1917, and that was one of the most, it was one of the most famous classes, because a lot of people didn't make it through that war. I don't remember that. Is that me?
It kills me. He wasn't even born when I went. We both went to this school, London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and it really blows my mind. He wasn't even born when I went there. I mean, it's disgraceful. He was busy being tear gassed in some, some Sudanese maternity ward, with his 5,000 cousins, and the soldiers who were. What else? What else? Were there elephants there? Crocodiles, perhaps? Did they put you in a little basket of bulrushes and send you down the river? And did Pharaoh's daughter discover you? And then, you went up in the mountain and they gave you a tablet. And now you're here in West Virginia and you're going to give us the word? I mean, what is it with you? Do you think that we all just fell off the turnip truck here? That we're all going to buy, the next Brooklyn Bridge or the bridge over the Ohio River? I mean, please. I mean, I've heard it all, but I mean, enough is enough. I mean, we're, sophisticated adults here.
I do remember you buying the London Bridge once. We won't talk about that.
We won't. No, but when I can't speak for when Sid was there, but when I was there, this school was a great school. I mean, and it was a school where I decided I wanted to become an actor.
Yeah, the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, LAMDA.
Yeah, LAMDA.
Fancy title it was more the common school. The fancy school was Royal Academy.
But they're all trade schools. That's what I love about them.
Yeah, well,
they're basically trade
The
schools.
Royal Academy was a much more snobby school. I mean, that's for all the fancy guys.
Well, that's because they put it the Royal Academy.
Yeah, that's the Queen. The Queen had that.
But it's a trade school, though. It's where you go and learn a trade, which is what I loved about it.
You got a little piece of paper with your diploma on it, which you then put in the bin because no one wanted it. It was useless to you. A diploma in acting?
No, but it was more important than that. You learned a craft. At least I did. I know what you guys did.
We had to be oranges. Remember having to be? Did you have to be an orange?
I had to be a tree.
We did oranges.
Park bench.
New age
Park
actors.
bench.
Oh, it's called métier, where you actually have to be an object, and you do it for hours. And it's like one of the most arduous processes. You have to be an orange. That was what the thing. It was a bowl of fruit, actually. I was an orange, a friend of mine was a banana, and someone else was a prickly pear, and I can't remember who the prickly pear was, but no one was sitting next to him.
A lot of fruits in your class.
There was fruits.
Okay, moving right along here. Yes, ma'am.
There's a gentleman over there. Can I just butt him? Because he was trying to answer, admittedly, completely out of turn, but still, you tried to answer last time.
What part of Andy Robinson is actually Kardashian personality? What part of Alexander Siddig is a genetically engineered doctor, for example?
Ooh, good question.
I love this question. I love
good questions.
Well, boy, I mean, I'm really, I don't want to get wound up here because that's the kind of question that gets me going. Because it really is. It's talking about acting technique, which I love talking about. basically, it's the magic of, and I really do believe that there's real magic in this process of acting. And because you take something that's on a page, and it's in a script, and you read it, and that's one thing. That's one form of its existence. It's an entirely different, and and the process is an extraordinary process of how you get from something that's on a piece of paper to something that is live and is real and that is being inhabited, or that a human being is making come alive. And so the simple answer to your question is that there's a lot of Andy Robinson that's a Cardassian, because that's who's playing the Cardassian. That's who is the host of that character, Garrick. On the other hand, the writers, I had a lot of respect for the writers on Deep Space Nine, which is why I think that the show was the best Star Trek show, because of the writing. And so when a writer lays down the roadmap, who lays down the DNA, that code, that obviously is not Andy Robinson. That was Ira Behr or Robert Wolfe or Rene Echevarria or Ronald Moore or whoever the writer was doing that particular script. And so it's a question of like Andy incorporating that information that the writer is laying out in this way that I can't even explain to you, because it's a mystery. It truly is a mystery how that happens. Which is why the whole thing about acting still keeps me alive, why I still think it is a great art form. It's a worthy art form. It's more than just being an interpretive functionary. Because what you're doing is that you're allowing that information to go into your subconscious being and to really get in there, and then you, relying on your intuition, whatever you're learning from that material that's going inside of you, and then making choices on impulse, making these choices of behavior, of action. And so all of the physical choices that you saw with Garrick, that's all me. That is all me. But it's not me who I really am. I'm a bad liar. I don't have my posture isn't as good as Garrick's. I don't have that sort of formal delivery, that Prussian demeanor. But yet it is me, because that's who invented it. And that's how I took that stuff and transmuted it.
If I could, I mean, the interesting thing is if you got questions, and Andy doesn't like to talk about acting, so if you could just not ask him about that. It's just a subject he doesn't like to talk about.
We'll do better.
And he won't be very forthcoming. So just don't. Just you make that. Okay. I think your ass is Cardassian. Just out there. I think it's one of those things that has to be out in the open.
I haven't growing scales, I mean,
just leave it out there now.
It's 7 years.
Now I've said it. There it is. I don't know about the genetically enhanced thing. It's a bit tricky, and it's when you went over to you. Oh no! What is about me that's genetically enhanced? Well, not the obvious stuff. Yeah, you can ask my wife that one. It's much more subtle than that with me. I don't really know, to be honest. I think that the whole genetically enhanced thing about Bashir and about Garrick, Andy had put a lot more thought possibly into what he did than I do, and that's not through accident. That's just through technique. It's just actors have different techniques of working. So a lot of what I did with Bashir is just what the only thing I could do. It's just like whatever I could come up with. It's like anything I could come up with is what I did for the day. I didn't go, I've got a choice between this, this, and this, and I'm going to do this. It'd be like, I'm just going to do this. This is what I've got. And sometimes I got it right, sometimes I got it wrong. And that was the end of that. And then they just cut it together so it looked right anyway, which is the beauty of TV. So I think I am Bashir as much as Bashir is me until I decide otherwise, in which case I will tell you, and you can ignore the last sentence I just said. Very presidential, really. It's like politics. You know? I'll tell you exactly what I want you to hear until I tell you it's not true, and then you got to believe me. So that's the situation on that.
I'm going to take it one step further.
Take it one step further.
I'm going to take it one step further.